Hi guys. So we have another guest from Europe. You are the second one. You just missed. Like I recorded the first one with the person yesterday. So he was from Italy. Now you are first from Switzerland. Okay. So yeah, how are you doing, man? Let me introduce myself first, and then you can go ahead and then see what happens. So I'm Sanjit. I'm from India. I'm doing my IT. I'm doing my bachelor's in IT and business management, but it doesn't matter to me which degree they gave me. I don't believe in those things, so I'm kind of that person. So, and I don't go to my uni at all. Like, if you ask any of my friends, I have not gone to uni maybe in 1.5 years. I've attended 7 classes from the start of 2020. So I'm very opposite end to that. And today we have David. You wanna go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, I think I'm going to match you then. Hi, my name is David. Just feel free to call me Dave. It's much more comfortable for me. I am a business student at the University of St.Gallen, and I now at the university have taken up a supplementary diploma in data science fundamentals. I share your view a bit. I mean, in the business courses, there are a lot of good ones. I'm going to say that, right? I'm not going to name names, but there are a lot of bad ones as well. Where just you're thinking to yourself, my God, what are we learning here, right? But I'm powering through. I'm almost done with my bachelor, so I'm looking forward to that and just jumping into some work.
Got it.
Again, ideally like data science related, obviously, because data is the new oil.
Cool. So, man, you said like you are doing a bachelor's in business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And you are from Switzerland. So, first of all, how is Switzerland doing right now?
Oh god, dude, it's like here's the thing. We're a very small country, right? I mean, compared to India, dude, we're tiny. We're like 8 million people. Yeah, we're a fraction. And that's, I don't know, like I guess I can speak for the region of St. Gallen because that's where I'm currently staying. But people are fed up with the COVID rules, man. They are, oh man, they are unnerved. Like especially now, our government basically told us that they wanted to work towards opening the country more, right? But now the cases spiked up again, so they didn't do that. A lot of restaurant owners very, very angry. But it amazes me because, again, like in America, you see these parties in Miami, for example, right?
They don't have they don't have. In Miami, they did like COVID did not go through that fast. They just passed by Miami.
Yeah, exactly, right? So they have these crazy parties and disregarding all safety regulations. Like, I just know Swiss people wouldn't be able to do that, right? Like, we've had the occasional party with like 200 people or something, and that was big in the news, and it was the scandal, right, that people behaved in that way. So people are very discontent, but they're following the rules.
Got it.
So yeah, there's kind of like this tension going around, I guess, of people just being absolutely fed up and hoping that it's gonna get better. And yeah, we like to complain a lot. That's what we do instead. We don't go to parties, but we complain.
Man. Okay. Let me digest that situation. So, the vaccine have been rolling out in Switzerland, right, or no?
Yes, they have been, but I mean, everybody is very dissatisfied with the way it has been going, because we have the infrastructure for it, right? So plans have been drawn up. We just lack the doses. And one of the reasons why the Swiss people are very, very angry at the current government is because one vaccine, I'd be completely wrong with the numbers here, right? But they ordered millions and millions of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Yep.
And the institution for approving these vaccinations, Swissmedic, still has not approved it.
Got it. Okay.
So they can't roll out these millions and millions of doses. So yeah, they're waiting for the next ones, right? So people are very, very angry about that. But again, it's going, I guess, just not as fast as people want it to.
That's like everywhere, man. Like in India, it's like the doses. I don't. There are almost how many? 5 million. Like around 5 million people have been dosed, but we are a population of 1.3 billion.
Yeah, just that's the fraction.
That's just a fraction. And And the issue with India right now, which I personally feel is like it's like going to a chocolate shop. You have different type of chocolates. We have different type of vaccines. We have like five or
Mm.
six type of vaccine, and
All right.
each so like we have, I don't know, there are seven type of vaccines. We have three or four that have been like research made in India. Then like Pfizer, Moderna, and this kind of a thing. One from like one which was named out like the names which like related to Oxford. I don't know the exact names.
Oh, God, I think I know which one you mean. Yeah.
I don't know the name, but I will pop the text here and there. So the issue with that I feel right now is like, first of all, I want to get to know what is the black market of the vaccine thing, how this black market is operating.
Okay.
That's one of my like first few things that I want to I want to get knowledge of. First of all, second of all, I don't have any data that proves that the vaccine have been like. Improving this thing or like
Mhm.
improving the health like I get that there are side effect this and this I get that like if because of the time frame we cannot make everything perfect, and it's not like a dose can be used on like 7 billion people and everyone will be like same healthy fit and fine. I get that part, but the another thing is which I am like for me that I why I don't want to get any vaccine is like the Indian medical professionals, they are also reluctant to get that. So if the medical professionals are reluctant, so I have my doubt. It's like I know like why should I, if the Indian medical professional they are like, if we go to the food chain, they might be the very first one who get the vaccine. So if they are reluctant, why should I? So that's one
Yeah,
of the
there you
first
go.
thing. So what thought on that? Like let's talk.
Yeah, dude, that's actually a beautiful image. There's actually one question I wanted to ask. In India, do the Chinese and the Russian vaccines do they circulate?
No,
There you go.
no.
Okay, okay. I was just wondering because I thought like, oh God, because again, like it's interesting that you said how effective are these things, right? I mean, Israel is starting to compile data, which looks very interesting and promising because they've been very aggressive with their vaccinations, as they should be. Uh, and they've landed themselves in a very good position, I would say. And it's interesting, as you say, like this one effect, which I think in Switzerland we don't have as much. I don't know why, but the attitude is not the same. Yeah, skin in the game, right? If the doctors don't get vaccinated, why the hell would you, right? Um, I don't know. I think the response from our medical professionals has been, at least from the doctors, has been very universally for the vaccinations, the new ones especially, right? The European ones and no, no, the European ones that have been made in Europe. They're very certain that they are very effective, which is why a lot of people trust them. But it's also very true that some of the nurses that work in the hospitals have been very skeptical and vocal about how skeptical they are with the vaccinations. It's very interesting because, again, like I get what you say, right? If the doctors shouldn't get vaccinated, I would. I mean, I wouldn't get either. I have a friend who studies medicine, and he assured me that he trusts the Pfizer vaccine, so I'm gonna trust him on that, right?
I
And
also trust the
I,
Pfizer. I just only trust the
yeah,
Pfizer
yeah.
vaccine. There are rest. I'm not gonna like. If I have the chance, I'm gonna go for the Pfizer. If like this is compulsion, I have to like pressure have been put on me, then Pfizer is
Mhm.
the only one that I'm getting, not any other one.
If you get into the chocolate shop, you want the best candy. There you go.
Yes, yeah, yes.
But it's very interesting because, again, like I talked with a friend of mine about this. I had back in high school, we had this one elective that we were allowed to choose, and I took one which was called Humans, Medicine, and Morality, where we
Right.
talked exactly about the gene editing, right? So we actually, I'm not illiterate in matters of gene editing and of how DNA works, right? So I got very interested in how these vaccines work. And again, I just have to say this with caution because I might be wrong on this, right? And please don't take this as either
Nothing is
endorsement or
advisable.
condonement.
We are just
Yeah,
talking shit. We are just talking shit.
exactly. We're talking shit. And here's the thing. Here's why I think the vaccine on paper is a masterpiece.
Yes,
It's an
yes.
absolute masterpiece. Like the way that we have been developing these vaccinations in the past pales in ingenuity to what we have come up with now. and it's absolutely brilliant, right, from a biological perspective. And again, there should not be any reason why this would go awry. And the only thing that is holding me back is like, but we still haven't tested it out, right? I mean, in the hypothetical part, everything is beautiful and everything should be working.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't know the full effect on humans long term yet, though, right?
Yes.
So, like a friend and I had a discussion about this. If you're older, right? If you're 70 or so,
Yes. Yeah.
then your risk of like long-term damages from this vaccine is minimized, because taking an absolutely depressing stance, you probably are going to be dead, so you won't be suffering through them.
Yeah.
But especially for young people, like, this is the only worry which made me hesitant, right? I
we
mean,
have our whole lifetime, if we can say so. Like,
there you
we
go,
are,
right? I mean,
yes, and just one or couple things, couple hiccups from these things, it's gonna like fuck up the things. That's what I feel, and I don't want to take that risk.
well, there you go. It's I mean, for me personally, I now have come to the conclusion where I'm like, okay, for a few of these, right? I've talked with my friend who studies medicine about this, and he trusts the science behind it. So I probably will get vaccinated once I get the chance, because to me, simply the rewards outweigh the risks, right?
Yeah.
But that is why I feel like so many people are doing the wrong thing when somebody questions the vaccination process, right? Because they're not meeting the people on the level, right? I mean, if somebody's worried, they have some legitimate reason to, right? I mean, there's some nuts out there who say like they're putting mercury in our bodies, right? Forget that. That's not happening. But
Yeah.
It's to me a bit arrogant sometimes why people are like, oh no, you have to get vaccinated.
It's like,
Then why? But and then they're just like, well, the doctors told us to, right? And it's just like, I can understand why some people are hesitant. And I mean, I was hesitant, which is why we have to engage these people in discussion on
yes,
ground level. And
that's what I was
there you
getting
go.
into. Like, open discussion needs to be made. It's like, I'm not reluctant to take vaccine or any other person I'm referring to, but I just need some open discussion. Just like, I'm eager, like I'm 51%, like I will take the vaccine. It's not like I'm like they are putting this, the vaccine is just water or the vaccine is just glucose. I'm not like,
you're gonna get the big autism once you have it.
yes. So I agree. Like, the technology is there. We were able to make this lot of like resources, and for me, vaccine was not like a social cause thing. It was who can make the vaccine in the shortest amount of time, get the banks. And when money is involved in these things, I know, especially all over the world, it's like most of the countries are in the capitalist society, and I know if there's a lot of stake, people are putting a lot of resources, and they need to deliver in that amount of time. I agree. I like totally support that. The issue that I'm come with, like when I talk to people, like this is like COVID might be right on the rise again. Like in India, it's on the rise, and I was talking this on like a month ago, and people like were making fun, like, man, you are a conspiracy, you are making this conspiracy theory, this. And when I'm talking about vaccine, man, like, how do you believe like this? I'm just talking like, man, these are the facts. I'm not taking like, I'm just showing the data points. I'm just making my thesis on. I'm not forcing you to agree on this. I'm just like wanting to have an open discussion, and most people are reluctant to have that open discussion.
It's very interesting. There's actually this one video clip that I absolutely adore, because that talks to a problem I feel a bit like has become widespread. I mean, in American society, it has gone haywire. In Swiss society, less so, but I see it starting to feel like you have no respect for the other person anymore.
Yes.
When engaging in these discussions, most of the time.
When the thoughts are completely opposite from your understanding. When these are two different thoughts, people don't respect each other. It's like they don't want to go into middle ground.
Exactly. I mean, like you see that in America. It's absolutely crazy with the Democrats and Republicans. You have these two clans, right? You're either the one or the other. There's no middle ground.
Yes.
And that's why, like, I think the rise of the internet and anonymity has contributed a lot to that, which is why I absolutely love this one YouTuber who made a funny video, right? In which he just proposes that we should bring back dueling, right? You get offended about dueling, the
What's that?
practice of dueling.
Ah, got
Well,
it, got it, got it,
back
got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yep, yep,
back if
yep.
the back in the 1700s,
Yep, yep,
1800s,
yep,
if
yep.
somebody disrespected your name, you met
You,
them at dawn, right, on a
yes.
field with two pistols, and you would shoot at each other.
Got
So
it, got
you
it.
would be very careful about talking smack, right, and what you
Yep,
said.
yep.
Um, and again, I mean, even back in the 90s, I guess, if you talked smack about somebody, there was going to be a fist fight after, right?
Yes, absolutely, and
And
it's not. It's
it's
common in
good,
India. It's common in India. In certain topics,
really.
the fist fight gonna be common. Like fights, verbal communication is like has been degraded, and I think the simplicity is overrated these days. People don't like value simple talks. They just want to they just want to put buzzwords in the conversation, and
Yeah.
then they feel like they're smart. They're smart as hell.
Oh God,
And
yeah, that. I keep meeting people like that. It keeps unnerving me, honestly. Like,
yeah,
I had this. What was it? We basically were invited by like a company to talk about data analytics and how they handle it at their company, right?
yeah.
And then they talked to us, and good Lord, I was so excited, right? Because I just gotten into data science, and I was like, okay, and now I finally have some solid understanding of Python and R, right? I'm not sitting out there copy pasting code anymore. Well, I still do it, obviously, for some things.
Everyone
But
does that. It's not like you're the only
there
one.
you go. It's good. It's good practice. I keep telling myself it's good practice.
Yes, yes.
But basically, right? I went there, and then they said, okay, now come up with ideas, like in groups of 4, how we could use data analytics in our bank, right? And we go into this Zoom breakout room, and like we have one guy who's supposed to watch over us and our ideas, and he's supposed to be like this guy who's going to guide us in the right direction with our ideas. And like the first guy starts talking, and I just noticed he's like the business type, and he hits a buzzword after buzzword after buzzword. Here's what he said: like, we're going to use Python for smart recognition of websites that concern the topics of the clients of this company, and we're going to use deep learning to then text mine these documents. We will aggregate the data using sentiment analysis to then post on our company internal website so we know what's going on in the world.
Got it. Got it.
And I'm just like,
it just blew above my pay grade. If I'm saying.
it's just like, I'm just like, dude, what you just said, I guess it makes sense, right? But it just shows you have no idea what you're talking about.
It's like people just want to look smart instead of actually portraying and transferring the information in the simplest way possible. Nowadays they just want to look smart, like whichever, like put 5 buzzwords here and there and make this, put some articles here and there, conjunction, and then there you go, here's the full article of you. That's what I feel these days.
Yeah, but again, like we don't correct these people, which is, I mean, here's the thing, like again, I don't know whether it's confrontation or whatever, which is why I like the dual idea, right? Because then you actually gotta watch the shit you say.
Yes.
But people spouting out bullshit usually don't get confronted about it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, in Swiss society, we would feel it would be the impolite thing to do, right?
Yes.
Because
yes.
then you look like the asshole for pointing out that he's spouting bullshit.
That's one of the things that differentiate, I think, Europe and the States. Instead, they just say it on the front, on the front, like. And while I have I talk to people that are in Europe, and they are like much more polite in the way they say it. It's like even if they're gonna say, it's like they back it up. Like, this is my opinion. I'm not trying to defend you or no disrespect. This is what I say. But instead, it's just front straight to the face.
Yeah, true. I mean, on the one hand, I would enjoy it very much if I could have just during that meeting gone up and be like, "Yo, bro, you have no idea what you're talking about." But again, I don't know. Yeah, it's very true that in Europe we try to keep our cards close to our chest, and we have this like live and let live policy, especially when we think it's not a big deal.
Yes.
But man, sometimes I just want to go the American way. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I just want to belt out, like, dude.
I live by the
if I'm wrong,
way.
I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You can prove me wrong, but what you just said shows to me that you have absolutely no idea what this is supposed to be about.
I'm full supporter of the American way. Like I understand there are certain hitters, but it's like they value time. So
Hmm.
now I'm not like wasting sorry, hi, hello, and getting the conversation. And like what happens in India, like with my friends right now, if they need to ask any help, like and we haven't talked in like a month or 2 months, 3 months, what they will do, they will send a hi, like what hi and nothing common, nothing after that, and then we will have a conversation back and forth for like within 24 to 48 hours, and then they will come to the point. So you have wasted 48 hours of your own time and mine just to get to the point. And like I don't get that issue. It's like just state hi,
Hmm.
how are you doing, and this is what I need, that's all.
Yeah,
And I will be more
there you
than
go.
happy to answer that. And people say it is an arrogant way of like doing some work. People literally like
Mm.
99% of India, 99% of people of my age group, they will say it's a very arrogant way. Like and I'm like, go do yourself. I'm not gonna say anything. It's what I value my time more than like this small conversation. Hi, hello, which are meaning
Mm.
they're mentless. It's just like how are you doing? We
Mm.
haven't talked, so I think you don't know about my life, and I don't know like why you want to need my life. That's first of all. That's why
No,
it's
the
called
question.
it's personal
Yeah,
life.
the
That's why
question.
it's
How
called
have you been? It drives
yes,
me insane sometimes. Like,
yes,
if I have a friend, right, that I haven't talked to in a long while, and they want to reconnect, they're not gonna hit me. Well, seldomly they have hit me up with a "How have you been?" and from then on, like a genuine conversation has
yes,
spurred. Like they usually are like, "Hey, yo, haven't talked to you in a while. Would you want to meet, or would you want to have a call?" Right?
yeah, yeah.
But or even but yeah, that sometimes happens, as you say, like it's a hi, how have you
We know,
been, how has it
we
been
know this
going,
is
and
gonna
we
this
know,
way.
right? It's like, there you go, it's just like, oh, just cut to the point, please, right?
Yes, it's like I don't want to
um
waste my time. I'm working. It's like just cut to the point. Like I appreciate the people who just talk straight to the point. No nonsense. No this straight to the point. I don't feel like many people. 99% I'm gonna say of my age group in
hmm.
India, they're gonna feel like arrogant out there. They will say this person has an attitude or this person has an ego. It's like,
Hmm.
but
Not necessarily a bad thing to a certain extent. You have to assert yourself.
yes,
But here's my question to you though: if
yeah,
you ask somebody for a favor,
yes.
do you do it straightforwardly, and do you give them a reason why?
I say hi, how are you doing? The reason, and then the favor, and at the end, I will owe you one. That's all. Everyone is
Mhm.
in that message. I will owe you one. This is what I need. If you can do it, yes. If you can't do it, just ping me that emoji. So if the person is
Mhm.
uncomfortable, that emoji, I get that the person has not. So the time I value my time very much. It's like
Mhm.
so there is always a kind of the message that I draft. So I always point that if you can't do this, just say this word. So it's kind of like a safe word. If you can't do this, I get the point. So this person is not gonna help me in that way. So I should focus my resources on some other point. And if they do, great. And now I will owe you one. That's all. Like pretty straightforward, the American way.
This is actually interesting. Can I give you a suggestion on how you should throw out your texts?
Go ahead. That's
Because
what we are
it
for.
has been there. You go. It has been working well for me. Because whenever I need something, I will be like, hey, I'm writing you because, and that is like I'm writing you because I wanted to ask whether you could do this and that for me, right?
Yeah.
So I like hi, ask, and then I ask the favor, right? I need this,
Yes.
and then I usually uh, do twice as much text on why I need the favor.
Got it. You
So
explain why you need the
yeah,
favor.
exactly. I will be like, hey, um, do you know any softwares with which you could recreate a room in 3D? Uh, because like I would need a model, and
Yep.
then I will like that is the one sentence, right?
Yep.
And then I will spend 3 to 4 sentences explaining why exactly that would benefit me, or why that would be great, or why I'm asking that, and then yeah, I usually leave it at that. Like I give the request, I give a reason for it, and people usually react. Like if they're going to react positively, they're going to react, and
Yes.
if not, I'm left on red, but that's okay. Then I know not to expect anything.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but again, I think that makes it shorter. And like the deviousness of what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to frame we had to talk about this, didn't we? Framing the conversation.
That's what the Gen Z especially, they don't have the ability to frame a conversation and just to talk in a public space. In a Many people are afraid to talking in a public space, laughing so loud and making your surrounding like they are judging the society, like they are all gonna see them. That's how they feel, and I'm like, go for yourself. If I'm gonna have fun, I will have fun, whether it's public or it's like in a park, 100 people are watching. I don't give a shit.
But that's the thing.
These people are not gonna meet me in their lifetime. I don't give a shit who they are. I might have fun. That's all.
That's the thing. Like, I would guess there's one big outliner to this rule.
Yes.
The general rule: if you're having fun, people are not gonna be like scornful of you. Like, unless you're at a funeral, absolutely losing your shits and giggles, right?
Yes.
People are not gonna scorn you for having fun, right?
Yes.
Usually, people actually, like, when I see people having fun, I get a kick out of it because I'm like, hey, cool for them, right?
Yes.
So I also don't get why people are like, sometimes, like, I also have this happening to me. People tell me, oh, be a bit more quiet. I'm just like, why?
Yes.
It's all good fun.
But this
There
is
is
what I
one-
don't understand.
There's one situation though. Sometimes, like, I can get a bit too loud. I have to admit, especially if it's something that is like dear to my heart, I will raise my voice. And again, like in a private setting, maybe not so bad, but in a public
Yes.
space, then people can get worried and people are like uncomfortable, which is why I get it. Sometimes it is better to keep it down a little, but especially for positive emotions, I don't see the need, right? As you said, like, these people, even if these people, you're going to see them once in your life, right? They're not going to be back in 2 days and scolding you for that one time where you were loud in a public square.
Yep. And if you are loud and like what I think that way, if I'm that crazy, if everyone is watching me, they're gonna share this. So they have so much of their free time. Like, these people don't have any work to do, that they're talking about me, the person that they don't know. So just imagine this thing. Just imagine this like weirdness.
Well, there's a lot of old people who don't have a lot of stuff to do, so yes, you will get granny shamed.
Yeah. And this is like I like I just like remember an incident that was happening with some of my friends. Like, so what was happening is something related to some work, and I was working, and I got that. I know. So what was happening was we were traveling back from my college to my home through a metro, like a public metro. So what was happening? The actual thing was while you were traveling. So there is a certain like a mindset while you are traveling in the Indian metros. It is crowded. First of all, it's like hell crowded. You can't, like, just to get in. It's a task. Just to get in the metro, it's a task. And the another thing is like if I need to call a person, I will put up a phone if the person is standing next to me, just because I don't want to like trouble random people with their talking, and I don't get the point. I will scream if the person is on the next block or the next and I don't care. Like, these people, they are all fed up. They are all like they are coming back from their work, and everyone is like, I just need to get dressed. I just need to get dressed. And what my friend suggested me, man, this is not how society works. This is not how the things are done in the society. So you have to mold yourself to the society. And I was like, dude, this is what we are doing from like the place we are born till now. If I'm gonna pursue this, I might not be like any differentiating factor. How do I stand out? So that's my point I want to bring up. Like, people are so much in the like, bro, this is how society works, and this is how society works. This is the general public view. If you are not thinking that way, then the people are not gonna value you. This is the point that I want to raise, and I want to get your thought. This is so much in India, so much.
Oh, not just in India. I would say that hypothesis racks true everywhere. But here's why I like, again, I am hesitant to speak out on this point, because if I do, I'm gonna frame myself as like this cherry-picked person from the heavens that is different from everybody else. No, I'm a pretty standard guy, I would say.
Yes.
I mean, I like chocolate better than vanilla.
Yes.
I mean, I wear shorts. I guess I don't know what basic thing. I have taken coffee at Starbucks, right? So I'm by no means this crazy individual. Um, but no, I mean, I am in a bit of a more special position, I guess, than most people because I am half Mexican, right?
Ah,
So there you go. It's a bit of a culture clash when I grew up, because on the one hand, there's Swiss etiquette, right, which is
yes,
be very polite, be very kind of like oh, what would be the word? Considerate,
yes,
and it's very fair, right? But I would just have Mexican elements that other children would not understand.
yes,
Um, but again, I mostly consider myself a Swiss person. But as you say, it's sometimes people are a bit too afraid to fall out of the norm.
yes.
That is very true. Here's a crazy thing, though. I would actually ponder the proposition that most people think this way, right? And it's this beautiful game of chicken because everybody thinks that we should all be more individual, but
Yes.
then nobody actually acts upon that because they think they're the only person who thinks that.
Yes.
So things keep being normal. Oh man, it's actually very interesting. Even further, we could make the proposition maybe that's people being individual, right? And they just aggregate to a big normal, and that's the normal. Then, if people act individually how they want, maybe that's how they really want to be.
I don't
and
have any issues.
then
I don't
that's
have
the
any
normal.
issues with like if they want to be that way. The issue that I have, you are pointing out to me that I mold myself that way. The issue is that I don't have any issues. Like you live your life whatever you want. You live with a certain mindset. I don't have any issue. Just don't put up your thoughts on me and just push me to go along those thoughts. That's my point.
That's very true. And again, this is where it's a bit worrying, especially
Yes.
that we see in America, kind of like this orthodoxy returning, right? You must conform to the norm. Cancel culture, Jesus Christ, man, I'm so scared. I hope that thing doesn't come to Switzerland. Has not arrived yet. I mean, in some forms a bit, but it has not arrived yet. Um, I mean, again, there are certain parts in the US where you have to either adhere to the Trump orthodoxy or to
Yes.
the Democrat orthodoxy,
yeah.
to the like, and that to me is just so insane.
Yes.
Because again, it's absolutely terribly beautiful because it's this tribe mentality, right?
Yes.
And tribe mentality is you are either with us or against us. It's gotten us so far as humans,
Yes.
but man, it's holding us back in many ways.
It's one of those things like everyone when every 2% I've seen like whenever they talk about this thing, nothing ever good comes out of it. When we talk about the like this like the political agendas and this kind of a thing, that's my opinion. Like these topics, they don't have like you can talk about like all day long. Like people talk about this all day long, but you don't ever like in my short life experience, they don't ever get a certain like what we call as conclusion in the end. That's what I feel,
Yeah.
and I feel like then the conversation is like worthless to have if we are not
Well,
getting a conclusion. That's my opinion, but I might be wrong.
here's the thing. I agree that it's usually not a lot happens in terms of changing anybody's mind. I have actually managed to somewhat change people's positions during a debate or a discussion. Though I wouldn't consider myself a great orator. But the one thing that I would disagree with you, I don't think it's a waste of time though, because on the one hand, you're hearing another person's opinion, right? And again, they might have information that you are not privy to.
Yep.
So that is always helpful. If you, the more information you have, as you said, the more data you have, you can complete the picture much more beautifully.
Yes.
And the second thing is, again, even if you don't change your mind, you will have been exposed to these new ideas and you have been challenged on your ideas. The reason why it's very frustrating, I agree, is because, well,
People don't talk data points in that scenario. They just this is going that, and it's if you're gonna talk about data points, this. I understand, but people don't talk about data points. It's all like kind of
feelings, I
yes,
think,
yes.
and yeah, there you go. It's yeah, we should have more empirical discussions, I guess. I mean, Isaac Newton thought that debate was reserved for empirical fields like physics and mathematics only, because otherwise you can't ever prove anything, right? Which is, but here's I had an idea a while back to kind of like concretize non-STEM discussions, because it's very true you can't prove anything in the fields of philosophy, for example.
Yes.
But I think where a lot of people get very angry with each other is because they're doing doublethink. Do you know? Have you read 1984?
No. Give me a brief.
There is this word which is used in the book, which is called doublethink.
Okay.
And it's this concept where, on the one hand, you have for an example. I'm gonna give you an example. Cheese is soft, right?
Yes.
Because you can squish it.
Got it.
But on the other hand, cheese is very hard because you can't squish it. So cheese is soft and hard at the same time, which would be a contradiction, right? Logical contradiction.
Yeah.
But because the person is so infatuated with the idea, the usefulness of that idea, that it can be molded to be either soft or hard, depending on what the situation calls for.
Yeah.
That they believe both, even though it's logically incorrect. In the book, like, his country is at war with Eurasia, right? And they're allied with East Asia. And then they have a big parade where they celebrate East Asia and demonize Eurasia. And then in the middle of the parade, an announcement comes where now they're allied with Eurasia and at war against East Asia, right?
Got it.
And the people, instead of being like, yo, what the hell, right?
Yes.
Literally change everything last minute. They swap all the banners, and they said, this is how it always has been.
Got it.
So basically you have two logical beliefs that are incongruent, and people are naturally predisposed to that. And here's why I think I have a bit of a better idea. Like, if you're going to have a discussion, a serious one, or you want to be productive, you need a big whiteboard, right?
Yes.
Just sitting between the two of you, you're going to have two markers, and you're going to start writing out your premises, right?
Yeah.
You're going to write out, I think we should build nuclear energy because it's cheap, efficient, and there's no waste, right? No carbon emissions. And then somebody could say, well, I'm against nuclear energy because it creates nuclear waste and it's ugly. I don't like the buildings or whatever, right? Yeah. And then based on that, you can start having these discussions where if somebody says something logically incongruent, you can point on the whiteboard or the blackboard, you can point towards the point where you're like, hey, here's where I think, right, your position is logically incongruent. And then they're either going to have to give an explanation, they're going to have to modify their base assumption.
Yes.
And that way, you already move towards a much better discussion. Because again, nobody has the final absolute truth.
Yeah.
But this way, you can already approach and see, okay, what are the biggest logical inconsistencies? And once you start eliminating those, you can go towards a better solution. And that is beautifully reduced because, again, if you have these two poles, they're going to meet in the middle eventually. Especially in a lot of philosophy discussions, the problem is that there's no right or wrong answer for abortion, for example, right? But there seems to be a common ground consensus that evolves throughout the discussion. So yeah, I call it the whiteboard debate idea. I'll have to test it out one day. I don't know if it'll work.
But
we'll see.
It seems interesting. The reason that I am intrigued about the whiteboard idea, I'm always going to remember by that, is now we are only going to focus on the issue that we wrote on the very start. Like, what was the agenda? What happens in the discussion and the meeting is like, we start with the agenda, then the agenda goes into this, and now we are talking on a completely different set which is not related to this. That's what the issue is. And with that thing, now I can say, you were talking about this, bro, this is not there. Wrap this up in a minute and let's move on.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's a pretty good idea.
Because again, like, especially when you talk with somebody, it's very easy Oh, there was one. I think the press secretary for Donald Trump was amazing at this. Kellyanne Conway was her name. She was an absolute pro. If you ever want to learn how to deflect answering a question, you need to watch Kellyanne Conway. She is amazing at, like, she is a natural talent at it. And it's exactly as you said, like, she will simply take the point that you give or the counter argument that you give, dissect it, take another single element of that, and then see how does that match something unrelated that I'm also angry about, right? And then she will have shifted the conversation towards that. You're not discussing on the previous point anymore. But again, I dislike this person because she is very dishonest. I have to respect the way she frames the conversation because she's very damn good at it.
Or you can watch the Robin Hood CEO, with the last scandal with when the when the Congress were like questioning. So first of all, that's a very great question we would like to answer. The Robin Hood or you can watch that. It might be helpful.
Oh man, dude, the best person of that whole hearing was Roaring Kitty. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Oh man, the whole movement too. I'm like. This is beautiful because it was apolitical. Like
yes. No political agenda was there. There was no political agenda.
There you go.
It's just revolves around money. Either it's hedge fund or retail investor. That's all.
There were a lot of people on Reddit who were like, "Let's stick it to these hedge funds," and they did.
Yes. And
it was absolutely beautiful.
It was not like for the very first time. Like it happened twice. I think it happened like maybe it started a week ago. Now it's like I don't know 180 something. So I just love this. So see how I moved the topic from this to that.
Yeah. There you go. You framed the conversation very well.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the stocks and this thing. So in Switzerland, especially, first of all, how's the weather there? I think it's cold.
The weather?
Yep.
Yeah, currently it's cold. It's been more sunny these past few days, but especially in St. Gallen, like, dude, we have London, England type weather. There's usually rain and clouds. Once I moved here, I have seasonal depression every winter because I just don't see the sun. And as I half Mexican, I'm just there like, my God, please. And like, if there's a sun ray that comes through the clouds, I'm like a gift from the heavens. Thank you. But yeah, no, we're currently going into spring. So there's still snow lying around. Fresh snow, actually. But it's getting warmer and warmer. I am very, very confident that next week we'll get to 15 degrees, which would be an absolute beautiful mark. To you, it sounds silly, but to me, that is like hope that summer is on its way.
For us, 15 degrees like the cold. 15 degrees like cold. And for summer, it's like 45, 50. Below that, we can't accept it. Summer. Below that, it's like, it's normal. It's like we need scorching sun, our sweat tempering down all the way down here, and our shirt hearts full of sweat. That's what we need. If you're gonna say, that's the summer for us. And and when you click a photo before the summer and after the summer ended, you should see your tanning and the face changes the color of that. This is what summer is in India. So I don't recommend anyone because it's so, and then it's all about the crowd. It's like you don't want to go any public spaces. It's so crowded and I just don't like this. So yeah. So you said it's gonna be cool. 15. It's like gonna be the LA beach weather, right? Then.
Well, I mean, at 15 degrees, we get our short pants out and our t-shirts usually, but it does not go up. Like 30 degrees is very, very hot for Swiss weather. That's like peak summer. And some people are dying outside from the sweat. It's absolutely beautiful to watch them though.
God. So the next thing that I want to, the investing, like, how does the Swiss investing, like, what platform do you use? Because I know Robinhood was there. I don't know about the Webull thing. Which platforms are there for the retail investors?
That's actually a good question. I mean, small investors, huh?
Yep. Suppose I where do you invest, or like if you want to invest other than like the banks, the normal like the banks and stuff, where do you invest that?
See, that's the thing. I would be the wrong person to ask because I have not made any investments yet. But once I start doing them, once I start earning money, serious enough that I can put some to the side every month, then I'm gonna invest them in. I'm gonna invest them in index funds, and I'm just gonna wait for 40 years on that baby to mature well.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna be very boring investor. I'm not gonna try to game the system. There are some people though, who at my university, I know a few colleagues of mine who do a bit of trading. It's interesting. They actually some use Robinhood. Some of them also use the bank systems that are provided. So, for example, UBS. I think you're familiar.
Yep. Yep.
They do their trading on there.
Got it. Got it. And
Very
how
interesting.
does
Yeah, no.
how are like the banking system in Switzerland? Like, do you have private banks or public banks, or it's all one, or like, how's the experience if I have to go and open an account? And because in India, it's a lot of it.
Like we have, well, certainly we have private banks. Yes, we actually do have. How would you translate that? Like we have regions in Switzerland, right, which are called cantons, and each of those cantons has its own bank. So for
State
St. Gallen,
bank.
you have the. Huh? Well,
No.
kind of, yeah, but it's not like it's not for the whole of Switzerland. It's like each region individually has its own regional banking system. So for St. Gallen, it will be the St. Galler Kantonalbank, which is a beautiful German word. Try to write that one out. So yeah, that exists. It's somewhat well used. People like it. But yes, certainly there are private banks. They're the big names, of course, like CSS, Credit Suisse.
HSBC is there in Switzerland? HSBC?
HSBC is in Swiss, no. I think they have a branch here, but I think it's English. But
No.
UBS,
Is
for
it
example.
there? Is it there? Like in Switzerland, you can use the HSBC bank.
Oh, yep, I think so, but I haven't heard of anybody using it though, so they're not doing that well here.
Got it. Got it.
But no, there's definitely a lot of private banks as well, smaller banks as well. Yeah, you have, for example, close to Liechtenstein, which is our neighboring country, but works closely with the financial sector. You have the VP Bank, which is very illustrious, where you have like people who are like people who are made men put their money there. Let's put it that way, like rather rich people. So yeah, we have private and state banks, and the service on both of them is very good, I would say, especially since the state banks are forced to compete with the private banks, right? I mean, the banking system used to be very wild with the bank secret law that we had. I don't know
Europe
if
has
you're
many
familiar with
laws.
that.
Europe has many laws that that are very different from the rest of the government. Like there are very different. That's
But we had one which was absolutely unique. Did you know about that law, the bank secret law? In German, it's called Bankengeheimnis.
No, I don't think so. I'm aware about all of the data privacy laws in the European, like the European law, which is very different from any of the world. I know I've gone through that, but not about. Tell me more.
Basically, up to the early 2000s, if you open a Swiss bank deposit, right?
Yep.
A Swiss bank account, it would be very hard for outside powers. So if an American opens up a Swiss bank account, it would be very hard for the feds to investigate.
This part I know. That's why all of the money is transferred into Swiss bank because Switzerland
we had this
that
law,
privacy.
right?
Switzerland provided
Exactly.
privacy.
It's a difficult one. It has been repealed, so it doesn't exist anymore. Again, there's a lot of discussion around this because some people here in Switzerland are taking a stance which I can understand to some extent.
But that provides a lot of business because that law provides a lot of business. I understand, like which business. Like,
there you go. That's their main argument. We are making a lot of money, right? And
just by that law, because you can't investigate, so people are like transferring money because it helps to save taxes, and that's why like when we heard like Swiss banks this much amount of money, this is a lot amount of money which is transferred into Swiss banks, and this is like. It's like I feel like the countries are going to compete. Like nowadays, like no one gives like not every country is going to be the same. That we have to agree on. So there is always competition, and I think like Swiss banks or like the Switzerland as a country, it's one of their major key points that attract business there.
That's very true. And again, since it has been repealed, I don't think it's been very volatile. The situation has not definitely turned worse, especially since our currency seems to be a haven for unstable times. It's absolutely insane. Like the Swiss franc gains in value during times of crisis immensely, which for the Swiss people is absolutely great because now we can shop in Germany much cheaper. But for our exports is absolutely terrible because now their prices have like
Yep.
increased by a factor of like 10 to 15% suddenly. Um, so our Swiss National Bank is they always have to walk a tightrope. It's very amazing how they do it. They've established somewhat of a stable exchange system.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in general, I would say a lot of traffic that comes to Switzerland in terms of business is because of business stability. Like we are a very stable country. If you look at it from a perspective of investment, if you're gonna build something in Switzerland, usually and it's successful, it's gonna last.
Yes, and another thing is like all like I've studied about this, like whether you compare about the dollar, the pound, they are so much inflation which devalues the currency. Not the Swiss like currency is also devalued, but it not that at that scale. That's what my point is. So it's like even it's like 0.05 or any percent, but when you scale down to the numbers the people are putting the money in, it matters a lot. So that's like one of the key points that I love that as a business perspective.
Well, yeah, there you go. It's I think our high school teacher showed us that it's a very, very good deal for the Swiss people because our economy keeps growing because on the one hand we have so many exports, right? And the money that is then infused into the Swiss economy does not get wasted.
Yes.
But Swiss people save up a lot of money. They actually make their checkbooks, right? And they invest in Swiss things, and then it stays in the Swiss system, right?
So but how much is the taxes?
Every year.
How much does the government take?
Oh,
that's the part that I want to know at the end.
Taxes.
How much is the taxes?
Well, again, since we have this kind of like federalist system where each region is different, and not just each region, but within each region, each canton, you have the small building blocks which are called Gemeinden, which are like, I guess, the size of villages, or like a city will have its
small
own
city.
Prefecture, I guess, would be the right.
Got it.
So you have federal taxes, you have cantonal taxes, and you have prefecture taxes. And you're going to have to pay them all, but it's okay because federal taxes not that bad. Actually, really, really good for. This is the reason why, again, they're very, very good for low-income households up to a certain point.
Yes.
And then they kind of clamp a bit together, and then at like if you earn more than 120,000 Swiss francs per year, I think, then you are in a very good position because then the taxes plateau. So you have like 100 plus K, and then the next tax bracket which you would fall into, where you would have to pay more taxes for every 100 Swiss francs you earn, is at 735,000.
It's a big gap then.
So there is a very big gap for people who earn very well. But it depends. I mean, Genève will literally take 2% of everything you have each year. In terms of like, if you just have a bank, if you have a bank deposit, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna go in there. They're gonna take 2%.
That's what I heard. Like that's what my friend was talking. It's like just like that. Like money is like running. Like money has been flown out of your account. Even I think the ATM withdrawal. It cost a lot of money that I
Oh yes, it does.
How much is
but,
it? Like for us, it's like
man, they always take a percentage. But like again, I mean, for Swiss people, it's not a lot because relatively speaking, it's a small dent, right? I mean, but again, to countries like India, to you, it must seem insane, like the amount of money we lose in each transaction.
Yes, and like we have like for us like if I have to withdraw from an ATM 5 times a month is free from any ATM. It's like if the
Really?
bank account from bank A, I can withdraw from bank B, bank C, or bank D. 5 times in a month is free. After that, it costs a bit. But then it's like
Hold on.
gonna be same small dent when you compare that.
Okay, I'm gonna see what Swiss franc to rupees is, and then I'm gonna see. I guess a regular transfer from an ATM.
Yes.
Like I don't know, or a regular transfer would cost like 4 rupees. I think it would be.
Then it's pretty cheap. Then it's not that much.
It's
like
not that bad. But again,
after 5, it's 20 rupees.
it depends. It depends on the bank you're with, and also coming back to the taxes. Actually, again, that is Genève, right? You have the prefecture of Genève, which taxes the hell out of you. And then you have some spaces in Schwyz, for example, which is a canton which is very, very popular because they have very, very low taxes. So their tax system is extremely lax. I'm just going to put it that way. Whenever you get rich, you move to Schwyz or Zug, or like honestly, it's absolutely insane because these people attract wealthy people because of their tax systems. And I think there's even one region, one prefecture somewhere out in the woods in a prefecture that is very, very small, not very well known. It's our Alabama. We have like people who grow up in this area usually marry other people who grow up in that area. So all of our incest jokes refer to that same spot. But one of their prefectures actually has a tax rate which is virtually zero, almost zero. It's ridiculously small. So, I mean, if you wanted to evade taxes the most legal way, you would move there. It's not going to be much around, but you would move there.
Got it. Cool. Now let's talk about the living expenses in Switzerland. It's a hell lot for me just to see especially when you talk about like why I'm interested that much interested, because I applied for ETH and I was very interested. Like there are certain colleges that are like dream college for everyone. Like for me, one of them was ETH. It's like one of my I think top 3. Like first one was Brown. Like Brown in Rhode Island.
Very good choice though.
States, then ETH, and then it was like Cambridge or Oxford. Like I applied, I got the interview, then about it. But ETH just for me to ETH is like I love that space. So I learned a little bit of German, which I don't remember now. I learned for like 2 years back. So because there's like I have to pass to the B1 or like C1 German, that kind of a thing to get. Yeah, so I learned that, and then but the price, when I heard about the price, it was a lot.
Okay, hold on. For just studying at ETH, right? Because that's 500 Swiss francs.
Yes, but
every semester.
Yes, I got that. But
that's the study fees. That's 38,826 rupees.
Yes. Multiply by 8. That's just for tuition fees, right?
That's for attending university, yes.
That's for attending university. And the issue with it's not like that, because in Europe the attending university is cheap, but living expenses are high. That's the part. Why in States the attending university is expensive, living there is cheap.
I mean, hold on. I can give you a rundown for a student. If you
it's
pay
around
attention,
100 to 1200 your currency. Which
living expenses, my dude.
1,000 to 1,200. Sorry,
no.
1,000.
No. That would be if you have I don't know where you would live, my dude. If you had $1,000 every month, like we're talking every month, right?
Every month, like CHF. That's your currency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every
month, I'm gonna give you a rundown. Every month, you can expect for what we Swiss people would consider a normal standard of living for a student.
Yes.
You're going to be spending, 155,307 rupees every month.
155,000. And what's in CHF? Let's talk
2,000 Swiss francs.
So if I go below, if I go to the extremes, then it's like 1,200 to 1,500 CHF, right? If I go to the extremes.
My dude, you would be eating beans and rice every day.
But I know cooking, so
For
I don't need to
breakfast,
go out.
lunch. Okay, fair enough. I mean, same over here, right? But again, like, what is something very cheap in India? I will give you the price equivalent here in Switzerland.
So what the best way to measure is what does one McDonald burger cost? One normal McDonald burger average standard. What is the cost in Switzerland?
For a menu or for just a burger?
Just for a normal burger, like a standard vegan burger, like not vegan veg burger, just a very standard, the lowest vegan burger.
I think that's gonna cost you 5 to 6 Swiss francs.
Okay, so 5 to 6 in franc. When you convert in rupees, it's like around, I don't know, what is one CHF into rupees? Let's first
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
I think it's 77. So five would be.
Let's round
you're
to 80.
looking at.
Let's round to 80 so that the calculation is easy.
Well, it says here 465 Indian rupees for
Yes,
Big
so
Mac.
yeah, but in India, it's gonna cost around 80 Indian
80.
rupees, 80
Oof.
Indian rupees. So now that's the part that I was like, not like, no. This is hell lot of expensive, and this is
Yeah.
like, and then the another issue with like, I love ETH, but the issue with one of the things was like, I was not sure what I'm gonna do with my life. It was like, it's like I just want to get into college and I'm gonna figure out. But when I go to ETH or like this university, when I'm gonna pay a lot, now it's a burden to me. It's like I have to perform well, and now I will not have that freedom to like what I do. I don't attend colleges. I don't give a this, and I do my own life, and no one is gonna like. No, my parents don't ask me what I'm doing because it's like I live on my own, like I earn kind of a thing. So they don't like, they agree. Now they have like settled like this person is gonna do on his own. But when I go to like this university, first I have to perform, and it's a hard, especially in these colleges, especially in ETH. It's like hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Let's put it that way.
Here's the thing. ETH is one of the most prestigious universities in the world.
Yes.
If you study mathematics or physics there,
Mine was
you are
mathematics
set. You are set.
Mine was mathematics and CS. It was it was like a mixed of course, which is computer science and maths.
But
And
dude,
I love
you
maths.
are complaining about living expenses, but let me tell you, your wages would be phenomenal. Yeah. If you study mathematics at ETH or physics at ETH, you will like literally, or I think geography is also one of those. You graduate and job offers flock to you. Like, you will not have to go search for a job. People will come to you and be like, "Please come work for us," right?
Yes.
That's the joke that is running around.
That's where like all
yes.
the alma mater and the alumni come to the place. I get that, but just for
It's
that,
tough.
and
It's fucking tough.
It's tough.
They sieve out literally everybody who does not perform to their highest standards. It's absolutely insane.
Yes,
I had a friend of mine who took, I think, 1 year to pass the first semester in computer science at ETH.
That's like it's gonna be a lot of stress. And first of all, I have to settle in a completely different country. That's one of the like whether we agree or not, I don't know you agree or not, but to settle in another country, you are the person who lives in that state. Let's talk. If I'm gonna go to come to your state and live there, and we're gonna study like together, you will be 6 months ahead of me by brain power and this, because first of all I have to settle. I have to like get myself aware of this.
Acquaint
Now
the
you are
language, yeah.
yes. So that's and now it's gonna be a race, and it's hard to catch up. It's not like impossible, but it will be very hard. It's like my friend studies in ETH. Like my friend also studies in. She is doing mechanical engineering, and she
Really?
is like yep. Very good friend.
Kudos.
So yeah. So and she tells me like when she has like ETH semesters and exams, she can't do anything else. It's like just studying. It's like calling her parents is one of the tasks, and then study. That's all. That's all. And it was like, that's crazy. Like
That is, yeah, that is very true though. We have this joke at my university because we're also rather renowned, I would say. So in the university rankings, we like to consider ourselves very good.
Tell the university name. Give us more explanation so that audience can know.
The University of St. Gallen, especially in the Swiss German-speaking parts and Germany also likes St. Gallen students. We have an acronym which is HSG, which rings around very, very widely around the world. We have a lot of alumni that are very successful. So our university has this also inside running joke. We are the elite, right? So again, like we pride ourselves in doing a lot of good work, and I would certainly say that university students at my university are very driven. They are very ambitious.
Yeah.
So you have people who come there and they want to bite, right?
Yeah.
They want to climb, and
they have that
very
drive.
very
they have that drive. Yes.
There you go. So we usually, our exams are also not the easiest.
Yes.
So we have this joke that we are like, oh yeah, the people at the University of Zurich or Basel, like during study phase, like they go out and party, and then they complain that it's so hard and life is so unfair.
Come here.
We are, yeah, exactly. We are studying 24/7. Some of us actually managed to party at the same time, which I respect. I wasn't quite able to do that ever, except for once. I had one evening where I literally just said fuck it and went dancing. But we know we are cocky assholes in that regard, right? We will belittle the experience of other students in terms of learning, but even we know we don't fuck with the ETH students. Those people are insane. Those people are mental. We would never compare ourselves to these people because, again, we just know that their workload is triple that of ours, right? So yeah, absolute kudos to your friend, by the way, for getting in, because that is not a small achievement. That is a big step.
Big. That is a very big achievement. Like for her to do that, and I just like appreciate. And whenever we talk, I'm just amazed how. The first of all, like there is like pros and cons. I get that. The first, like one of the benefits that I see is like you make a damn good work ethic. When you are at that pressure, you understand that pressure. I have to deliver, and to deliver that consistently at that level, you make a damn good work ethic, which is very hard to build, especially in India. I'm gonna even the prestigious universities I'm gonna tell, like which is like called IITs in India. It's the issue with Indian university is like the university is not gonna teach you anything. Certain outliers are there. I don't get that. The issue with that is it's hard to enter. It's just very hard, very difficult. It's like 1 in a 100K chance you will enter that prestigious university. But after you enter, your life is smooth. But the difference with like when you compare with other universities, like entering into university is not that hard. You just need certain combinations of certain things, and it's all good. But going through that phase, it's like you develop the person who grad like I say that to my friend, the person who graduate like colleges like ETH, Stanford, Oxford, or your even, they does not just graduate that college. They made that college. Like they developed something just from that college. It's like that's the phase that I say to many people that are studying. You are not just graduating that college. You are making that college kind of a thing. You are like paving a path for others. Like this is what we expect from you. If you are not that standard, it's not for you. Go anywhere.
That's very true. Especially like in Switzerland, there is 2 different tiers of high school. Well, I shouldn't call them tiers, but in effect, there are 2 tiers. If you're gifted in schoolwork during middle school, then you will get into, I guess, grammar school would be the best translation for it, right? And otherwise, you go to normal high school. But if you finish grammar school, if you get that diploma, then you will automatically qualify to study at any university in Switzerland, except for medicine.
Right.
So again, you can get into ETH, no problem. You can get into HSG, the University of St. Gallen, no problem. Staying at ETH and staying at the University of St. Gallen, that's another thing. Like just this year, we have an assessment year, right? Where during 1 year, you can get kicked out relatively easily if you don't meet the criteria. And I think that is one thing which makes me a bit angry. But yes, we have like 1,800 people who apply and come to the university and start studying. And a lot of them realize that it's not for them,
Yes.
and they leave, right? But after the first semester, you're about left with 1,100. So 700 to 600 people just had either kicked out or left.
Or left, yes. My friend also told me, like, she also told me, like,
oh yeah,
majority of the people, like, who can't, like, the first year, you are just like weeding out the grass. The person who came in now is like weeding out. Like, you can see which person is going to deliver or not. Just after 1 year, the class population is going to feel very low. And as you move ahead, the grass is being weeding out as you move.
that's insane, but it's meritocracy in action.
Yes. It's like has pros and cons, but I just like I love that culture. Like, it brings, if we are not gonna be trained now for the pressure, it's like we are not gonna be trained. That's what I think. Like, for me especially, I need that, like, that pressure on me. Otherwise, I'm not gonna deliver. I need that, like, this is something I need to do. Otherwise, I'm fucked. Why?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, most people, I would say, kind of need that. But yeah, as you said, staying at ETH is a feat.
Yes, and so the everything was good. Like, I agreed. Like, I'm gonna go. This is this. I got into it, and like getting into it is like a big deal for an international student. Just for me, like getting into it, accepted, and I was amazed. But then the fees part comes in, and I was like, this is quite a lot of fees when you compare. Like you said, like I'm gonna say at your figures, 2,000 CHF just for like a month. It's covers to like 1,200, 24,000 CHF, and you multiply 3 years, 75,000 CHF, which is, I don't know how much is money, but that's not what I'm paying right now. That's what's like the whole things comes into the place. It's like, this is quite expensive, and I don't want to take that much amount of debt right now, because now I'm obliged to pay that, and I don't know. I'm just borrowing from my future, and that's that's why I don't like credit cards, especially. I don't like credit cards at all. Like, I'm borrowing money from my future that I don't own right now. It's like
That's the thing. Oh God, Americans are so, like, I'm so amazed. The English as well. They borrow for college, right? And to me, that is, good Lord. Yeah, it's an interesting notion. I mean, it would not have been impossible for you to attend ETH with the fees, because if you get a job here, again, our jobs pay very well. But you would have to juggle a job and studying. I can see why that would be incredibly difficult for anybody.
Understand, like, I'm just 17, and I'm not mature enough to take that amount of stress and pressure. Like,
there you go. And
that's the part.
Kudos to you. Because again, like, there's people, like, I had a roommate once from England who was like, yeah, I'm 40,000 pounds in debt. I'm like 22. I'll never pay it back, but that's okay. And I'm just like, that's how can you talk like that, right? Like,
this
what the hell?
Even if I've let's talk in CHF. Even I have like 20 CHF for like my credit card debt, or like any debt. Like, I have to owe someone. I'm scared shit. Like, I have to pay that person. Like, I just have to peace my mind that I don't owe anyone anything. And that's
a good mindset, though.
That's why, like, when I ask for a favor, when I say I owe you one, I literally mean I owe you one. It's like, I'm obliged. You call me anytime, and if it's that favor, I will stop everything, if it's my work or no. So that
maybe not, but you will make a very good effort. Yeah, it's a good law, because again, people value reciprocity, right? If you got a favor, then you owe the other person the same courtesy. Again, this is why consistency is so undervalued in business, and which is why I think Switzerland is very good in that. We are very consistent, right?
Yes.
If we do business, and we do it correctly, and we do it well, because we want this relationship to stay and thrive.
Yes.
So the same with people. So yeah, that's actually not a bad mindset. I would applaud you for that. I mean, I also try to keep the favors that I owe to people at a minimum, right?
Yes, because
actually, I have a dancing partner who keeps inviting me for dinner, right? And I keep telling her, hey, send me the portion of the check, and she keeps not doing it, because in her mind, she's being a good host. And so what I did is I just went and bought a very expensive bottle of liquor, and I brought it to her as a gift, kind of like just unexpectedly, but as to balance it out, right? Because again, I cannot sleep well at night knowing that I'm eating for free at that table, right? Even though I am welcome, I understand, but it's still, to me, it's just like, well,
a personal, you feel a personal responsibility. That's what I feel like. If you are going that, and someone is spending, like, either you Dutch it. I love the Dutch. Like there are people, let's Dutch it. It's not. I don't feel like. But if you're just gonna spend on like one person is spending, I feel bad. It's like you have earned, like you have like worked hard for that money, and I'm not taking that favor, because otherwise in the future you're gonna expect me to pay that, and I don't have kind of money, or I don't want to spend that much amount of money. So let's Dutch right
Yeah.
now and don't owe us in any other in future. That's all. Let's settle right now. If it's gonna take 5 more minutes on that table, if another family or any person is waiting, let's wait 5 more minutes and then does it right now and clear
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
That,
that's
that
okay. That's a good mindset though in general.
and it's overrated. It's overrated. People feel like very like in India especially, like I say to my friend, like let's wait 5 more minutes, make our calculation who's gonna do this, and they feel like a social anxiety. Like let's not do it right here. Let's go back and do this. I'm like, if we enter back into our car, we are not gonna discuss this. Everyone knows this
Yeah.
thing, and I feel like I know no one's gonna discuss this, but this is important because I am earning hard for money. If you are not, that's your problem. But I don't want like you to think me that I'm gonna owe you anything right now just for this thing.
That's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of systems in place to kind of prevent that thing. I mean, Ireland, if you go out with your buddies, then one person buys the first round of drinks, and then the next person buys the next round of
Yes.
drinks, right? So you keep it consistent like that. Like again, it doesn't matter how you do it, but it matters that you have a system of fairness in place.
Yes.
It matters a lot. So yeah, there's that actually.
So how does like you told like I just want to know about the partying stuff. So how does a normal Switzerland party will occur? What's the scenario? How many people are
A
going to be
party?
there? Yep. And what's the scenario? What are the logistic requirement? What are the food that's going to be there? Yep. Just share some insights on that.
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna throw a party, usually if you're the host, right, you're gonna provide drinks and snacks, alcohol most likely, and popcorn or something along those lines. Depends on what occasion it is. Like if it's gonna be a dinner party,
Let's talk. You have your birthday. You're going to throw a party. What's it's going to
party, just a regular party. Okay.
Just a regular birthday party. You turned like 20, 21, 22. You turned this number.
Yeah,
Now
there you
the
go.
friends are like pushing, give a party, give a treat. So what's it's gonna cost you from the logistic part?
Well, you're gonna have to be in charge of booze, which means you're gonna have to get a lot of beer. And is a very good option because it is alcoholic, but it is also cheap.
Cheap.
Well, definitely. I mean, we're still students, right? So there you go, right? You buy a shit ton of beer, a metric shit ton of beer for everybody attending. You make sure that there's some snacks in there as well. It depends on the party, but if I want to invite like 5 friends, I mean, I guess 60 to 70 bucks.
Per person or overall?
No. That would be insane. Jesus Christ. No, 60, 70 bucks for everything overall
Got it.
would be a decent start. Like then you won't look absolutely pauper poor.
Got
But you
it.
will be able to entertain your guests. And again, like in Swiss culture, usually if you're invited somewhere,
Yeah.
the mentality, at least among among people who have been raised well, is to bring something along with you. You always bring a gift with you, which is more booze or more snacks. You can choose, right? You can also bring a dessert, that's fine. But if you're invited somewhere and you knew beforehand, right? It's not a spontaneous thing. Even if it's a spontaneous thing, some
It's a
people,
culture. You have to.
yeah, you go and buy more booze before you go there, right?
Got it.
So yeah, you basically you make sure that you also contribute your part.
Cool.
But yeah,
So
for a
it's-
party with a small group, yeah, 60 to 70 bucks. Which I don't know how many rupees that is. Hold on.
I calculated 60 to 70 is like 42 to 45, 5,000. 5,000
Yeah,
rupees.
there you go.
Yep. Cool. That's pretty like I expected more. I expected around like much more. Like I expected 3 times.
Depends on what kind of party you're throwing, my dude. But that's just a party for like a small group of people. If you want to throw a party for like,
Nah.
I don't know.
I don't have that many friends that I'm gonna throw that much amount of party. I just have like a couple of friends here and there that are like me. I say that this is what this is. If you want this, then fine. Otherwise, this is your credit card. Buy your own. I say it to the face. Like I don't like. I don't feel ashamed. Like this is what I can afford. This is what can I provide. If you feel like it, all welcome. Everything is for you. Otherwise, this is out of my budget. I can't afford that thing. I just say it to the face. And I think it's fair. I think it's fair for them.
Decent. As we get older, we can hopefully buy more booze, better booze too.
Yeah. And so let's talk about crypto now. So nice.
Okay, briefly though, because I slowly have to get going. But let's actually the one thing.
How much time do you have?
10 more minutes.
Okay, so if you wanna ask me anything before we move into crypto.
Before that, what is an Indian alcoholic beverage? What is like a typical Indian drink?
Corona beer.
No, but like spirits. What do you have in terms of spirits? Like, because Swiss people, we have all kinds of, like, we have schnapps, we have actually absinthe is also very big in some parts. So what is like considered Indian spirits? Do you have like any special Indian spirits?
No, I don't know. I don't drink. Like my body is not suitable for drinking. Like even for like I have drank twice, and both of the experience after that it's not good for my body. So I have literally zero idea with the drinks and stuff. I've seen.
All right, fair enough. Okay, let's talk about NFTs, which I'm very excited. That is how you coaxed me. Yeah. Oh man, it's beautiful. I hold on. I'm just gonna go on a limb here. Have you seen the Jake Tran video?
No.
Oh, okay. It's like a small documentary on the NFT bubble. Love the dude. He makes very, very good videos. And I mean, he talked about it, made a comparison to the NFT bubble to the internet bubble, the .com bubble, right?
Yep.
Which he made a very interesting prediction. He said, like, the NFT bubble, it's gonna grow, it's gonna burst, right? For sure.
For sure, I absolutely agree.
There you go. But it won't kill it. It won't kill NFT, right? NFT will still be around.
And NFT is like for me, like the one of the major issue that the person comes into like the NFT space. The first thing is like they don't understand. Like I can get a screenshot of this and it's mine. Understand? Like what's the value? Are you in that space or do I explain that? Or you are in that zone?
No. I already know what an NFT is and more or less how it works. Courtesy to you, but that most people are in that space, right? Most people.
So for them,
think, like, why would I want to?
For them,
I'm digital image.
For them, I'm gonna give like a brief 1 minute. Like, how do you explain them? So explain them like this. So there are Eiffel Tower all around the world, right? You've seen Eiffel Tower in America, in States, in Paris, and this. But which Eiffel Tower? 001 is the most valuable, that is in Paris, right? That's the only one which is valuable. Others are, no one's gonna pay millions or like even $100,000 for that. Only that one. If that one is for sale, this is gonna be like the millions. We're talking like billions in dollars, right?
That's the big one.
001. That's the Eiffel Tower. That is what we're buying. Even if I get replicated and put it right in like St.Gallen or right in India, it's not gonna be that valuable. Why? Let's understand the why. Because
yes,
001 has a story to it. That's all the value that there is. 001 has a story. That's why the NFT, which is 001, or like which is specifically for like which has a number to it. That's what the value is. The story. I can get a screenshot, but you don't have a story with it. It's just a screenshot. It's a copy of that. And it's similar to like the Mona Lisa, but like Mona Lisa is very common. People explain this and most people like don't understand the Mona Lisa. So I explained the Paris like this. By the Eiffel Tower, they understand it much more better.
Yeah, but it's that idea of owning the original, right? That applies to people. Like again, I people are very skeptical, but I sometimes relate just another story, which is there's this very famous monastery in the region in Switzerland, which is called Einsiedeln, and they had to do renovations with their pavement, right? So they had these big stones, and they had to renovate it, and they literally asked if anybody would want to buy a stone, right, to have their name on that stone on the square. Yeah. Which is not going to give you anything in terms of value.
It's just the storyline. Like I can
it's just like the stone, right? But there you go. People bought these things. Yeah, people bought these. They gobbled these things up, right? they I think they sold a lot of stones with just the names of the people on there, right? Because again, we're not trading in physical commodities when we're trading for 001.
Yes.
We're trading in social commodities, right?
Yes.
We want the clout, right? We want kind of like we like the appeal of being the original owner of something.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
But again, like I can see why, like there's some digital arts out there that are just like thousands of dollars for a bad painting of a Cybertruck, right? And you're just there like, what in the darnest thing that crossed the mind of that person, right?
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's what, like, this is gonna be over, this is gonna be a pop, but not every NFT that is valued is gonna like go to zero. Majority is gonna go to zero. I agree. But the one that keeps the value, they're gonna skyrocket. They're gonna move.
That's the thing, like again, there's digital art out there, right, which is very valuable to own.
Yeah.
Because I mean, digital art can be absolutely beautiful, and again, for those pieces which have value by creating emotion, right, or having a story behind it, these things will not drop in value, or maybe they'll drop, but not as much, right? These are your safe bets. But again, if you want to own an NFT for the sake of owning an NFT, you're the person who's gonna go down in the bubble, my dude. I'm sorry to burst it. But like you're going down. That is a bad investment.
Like, do you own any NFT?
No.
You just for the process, how it takes, and just like buy a $5 or $10 NFT just for the sake of like how the process is. How do you feel like this is? Because I did this and now like before and after, like these are very completely, because when I own an NFT it's like a different mind. Like I like now I own this. Like there's a different feeling with this thing. So I would recommend, like if someone can afford that $5 or $10, there are a lot of $5 or $10 NFT just for the sake of owning one and see how the process is. You do this just for that. But do you own any crypto?
No, I don't. Again, I am again a very conservative investor when it comes to that. Again, once I will start making my stable income, I will set a portion of that aside, and I will invest it. I will invest it in index funds, and I will wait 30 years.
No Dogecoin?
Sadly not. I've actually memed with a friend about this, and we were thinking of buying some just before the bubble started as a joke. I mean,
you should, man. You should, because I made money a lot. I made a lot of money. I made a lot.
That's the thing.
Yes, I bought those in like late December. So like it has like, I don't know, 500, 1000. Like this is crazy. When I see my portfolio for those, it's been bad.
It's been very good, but again, like I don't like the idea of having to worry at night if I game the system correctly. I don't like that. So again, like the daytime trading, not a thing for me, I would have to say. And again, like if ever I go into my index funds, I won't look at them, because that's just it creates a bad nervousness. It's bad for the heart.
You can't see like 20% drop in a day. That's like very usual in crypto. I see my portfolio like, this was not like this when I look a day before when I go to sleep. Now it's like this. So it's like it builds a strong heart. Now you get
it's like it's like fluctuations, or like a gypsy with a mortgage.
Yes.
God damn. It's nervous.
It's a lot of nerve. It's not for people that are like, if they don't have like that amount of money that they're able to lose. I'm like all good. If that money is go to zero right now, I don't care.
Yeah, but again, I don't understand why most investments are like that. There are people out there who invest their money that they can't afford to lose. That to me is stupid. That's
get rich quick. They want to get rich quick. There's a difference between investing and get rich quick. So like everyone falls into the trap, whether we agree. Like I also felt like there was a phase when I want to like, I need some amount of money. But like for me personally, if you are chasing money, it's not gonna come to you. That's what I feel like. Whenever usually not. When I was like, I need money, and I did some task for that money, it's never came. But when I did like something that was not like like hackathons. I love hackathons. I've been to like multiple of those, and the prizes. I just love the prizes. Like I see different prizes. I'm just aiming for, and we were like fortunate enough. We were like very close winning that.
Yeah,
I must say.
It's true.
And we were very close. We were very close.
Yeah. I mean, again, the hackathon actually opened my eyes. I need to get more front end done because I know zero. So I taught myself the basics of HTML5 yesterday, which is very cool.
Cool.
But again, it's to an extent, it's so easy to. The main reason why I'm doing this is to gain value, right? Because I think that is important as hell. You need to gain value. You need to create value for people.
Yes.
And then you're going to be like, again, if you try to chase money, it's not going to come to you because you're asking for something that you have no right to claim.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And if you start being valuable to people in organizations, in employment and whatnot, even in social matters, right? If you are valuable to people, then you can start claiming your share of what you create, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, again, if ever, I will be a very boring investor. Don't watch my portfolio.
Very conventional, like buy the ETFs and index funds, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's just I'll look at them maybe in 15 years and I'm like, oh, it went up. That's pretty good. It's very nice.
It's cool. Yeah, like everyone has their own style. I'm much more of a I need this spikes to go up and down. I need that dopamine rush. I need the dopamine rush. Now I'm like up with this dopamine rush. I need that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, okay. On that note, actually, everybody has their own way.
Yeah. So, anything you want to go say before we end this? Nice talking to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely was. Well, if I have one thing to say, buy Dogecoin. Help Sanchit. Help Sanchit get rich by Dogecoin.
Buy Dogecoin. Yeah, man. Okay.